Grace be unto you in peace, from God our Father, from our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. Today we use the stories, 20th chapter, on Esther, the Queen. The book of Esther is unique and also strange for several reasons. First and foremost, because it is apparently a non-theological book of the Bible. By that I mean we don't hear the name of God at any time in the whole book of Esther, at least in the Hebrew version of the book, which is the one that we use for most English translations. It's rather remarkable that in the Greek translation, known as the Septuagint, God is frequently mentioned. And the main characters, especially Esther, are shown to be very pious Jews who are never very far from the time of prayer. But all that Greek goodness that is absent from the Hebrew, so that we never hear the name of God or any of the prayers that they say, or even that they are in prayer. And really nothing of any of the Jewish religion or culture. That makes it a strange book for the Bible. However, the idea of God's presence is very much a part of this book. It's implied, but it is very much there. And of course, divine providence is clearly implied throughout the entire story. But the closest we get to a mention of God in Esther may be Mordecai's comment to Esther, when Mordecai says, if you remain silent at this time, in other words, if you don't say anything to the king about what is about to happen, relief and deliverance for the Jews will have to arise from another place. And that other place from which deliverance would supposedly come is probably an allusion to God. But that in itself is not clear. But not only is Esther non-theological, it is also very disconcerting on several levels, especially concerning the matters of violence. There's a lot of violence that we can read about in the Bible. And that brings discomfort to a lot of people. Well, I guess because of the violence in the book of Esther, those who put together the readings for Sunday mornings in the 3-year series didn't include anything from the book of Esther. And what is most interesting about the stories version of Esther is that it is almost complete. Every verse in 10 chapters, except for a dozen. But for all of the other books of the Bible that we've been reading through the story, there are quite a few omissions, quite a few verses missing, but not from Esther. We get probably, or almost, a very complete story. But it's very difficult to read chapter 3 and chapters 8 and 9. In chapter 3, we read about Haman He's a high-ranking Persian official. And he is the one who plots to destroy the Jews throughout the whole kingdom of King Xerxes. The whole kingdom is a large kingdom. But Haman decides to do that because Mordecai, one person, would not give him obeisance, would not really show him favor, would not bow when Haman walked by. And that made Haman so mad that he decided to pick on every Jew within the whole kingdom. So he went to King Xerxes and asked for an edict from him to that effect, so that all of the Jews in the provinces could be destroyed or killed or annihilated. And he wanted it done on the 13th day of the month. And he wanted it to be an order that could never be revoked. And King Xerxes, well, he's kind of gullible. He decided, okay, we'll do that. If you want that, that's fine with me. Probably didn't put too much thought into how he responded to Haman. Well, through the back door, Esther heard about the plot. And she declared a fast for all of those Jews who were in the capital city of Susa, until she could figure out what to do. Doesn't say, but I'm sure she did, engage in a lot of prayer and soul searching. What can we do? And since the order to annihilate the Jews could not be revoked, not even by King Xerxes, a different edict then was declared. And King Xerxes was willing to do this for Esther. The new edict gave the Jews throughout the whole province, the whole kingdom, to defend themselves. So should there be any who tried to kill or annihilate them. So they were given permission to fight against their oppressors. When the 13th day of the month came, quite a few people became oppressors of the Jews. We are told in the story that 800 were killed in the capital city. 800 oppressors. Out in the provinces, 75,000 of the oppressors were killed. So it was quite a bloodbath. Following the victories by the Jews, they feasted and rejoiced that they were saved. So this rather violent story is the background for the Feast of Purim, a feast that is marked by giving gifts to one another and to the poor. the violence of the Jews is presented in the book of Esther as both defensive and as justified. Enemy people hated them and were seeking to attack them. So they were made able to at least defend themselves. We don't know, we're not told whether any Jews were killed. Just the number of the oppressors that were killed. But this defensive action is the exact reverse of what Haman had planned in his plot against the Jews. And if this payback sounds rather vengeful to us, it is. But it also reflects the kind of perfectly balanced retribution that marks the biblical notions of divine vengeance. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And in the ancient world, such a yardstick was not considered merciless at all, but merciful. For they made sure that the punishment fit the crime. Exactly no more and exactly no less. The punishment fits the crime. And that was not the culture in the world at that time. Even the biblical culture talks about 7 times vengeance. Until Moses finally came along and says, no, not 7 times. Or Lamech said 77 times. And Moses said, no, not 77 times vengeance. An eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. Violence raged within many cultures back then because of the revenge factor. Moses got it down to simply 1 for 1. Jesus, now he said something much greater than that. Love your enemies. Do good to those who persecute you. That's our edict that we go by. Well, in spite of the violence that we hear in the book of Esther, there are also a few times when there's a bit of humor. The book opens with a lavish feast. Guess how long the feast lasts? Well, for us, if we have a feast, a few hours, maybe it was a few days of feast. No, it was 6 months of a feast. No wonder the queen didn't want to show up all the time for 6 months of a feast. King Xerxes also was not much of a king. His advisors had to tell him what to do at every turn. And then after Queen Vashti refuses to come to the party, the domestic dispute is blown up into a national crisis by King Xerxes. So that as Xerxes declares, we're going to make it so that every man should be master in his own home. Because apparently he wasn't in his own home. And finally, the gallows that Haman had set to hang Mordecai upon. They were 75 feet tall. 75 feet! How tall is the roof here? It's maybe, 30, 40 feet? Twice that tall was the gallows. That's absurd. But there's an underlying seriousness to this story as well, and it's after the story of, because it's an attempted genocide of the Jews, and we've heard about that at other times of our history as well. But it's a story that also then reminds us that God does not abandon his people. No matter how bad things got for Jews under the hand of foreign powers, God was still God. So there is a strong theme throughout the biblical writings. After the Babylonian exile, which is what Esther was on at that time. She was in Babylon. She was in exile. But a strong theme. God is still in control. For even we as Christians struggle to claim our identity within a culture which is very dominant for us as well. Our culture calls upon us to be Americans first. Or our company that we work for calls us to be employees first. Or our culture says we ought to be consumers first. And that's where a lot of people get their identity. Being an American first, an employee first, or a consumer first, rather than a follower of Jesus first. So we can learn a lot from the book of Esther. It tells us that God is still with us as well. Amen.